Starting off here with the Los Angeles Chargers. New coach who dis?
Angeles place. It is new coach who dis. I think it's here comes a bounce back. Los Angeles Chargers, 5 wins, 12 losses, last place in the division. Let's go over some stats on the offense. Last year they were 13th in passing yards per game, 25th in rushing yards per game, which we will come back to, and 21st in points scored. Got notable injuries and storylines from last year. Mike Williams, decent receiver, missed most of the year. Justin Herbert, this one was really hard to confirm. Broke fingers on both hands.
It's badass.
It's hard to Google that because if you Google Justin Herbert broken fingers, they show you the most recent one, which caused him to miss the end of the year, I think the last 4 games. Mm-hmm. But if you want to check that he broke his other hand, you just have to Google other hand broken or which week he broke it. But yes, he did break a bunch of fingers last year.
He just loves breaking them things.
Just hurt a lot. Their O-line had some injuries at the center position, and then Austin Eckler held out, played, got hurt, then came back a little early and played hurt, and I think that's some of why they would be 25th in rushing yards. Other storylines, after the season, they fired the GM, and their first-round pick, Quentin Johnston, sucked with the coaching staff that they had. That's the main recap for 2023.
I like that. So basically everyone was broken. Nothing worked. We're going to hire a new coach, and it'll fix everything.
I think it will.
I think it will, too. Justin Herbert's very good. So let's talk about that 2024 outlook. As you mentioned, Brandon Staley is out. Kellen Moore is out. Now we got the big Harbaugh in town.
Yes, Jim Harbaugh coming over from Michigan. Greg Roman comes over from nowhere. I don't remember if he coached anywhere last year, but he has coached with both Harbaugh brothers in San Francisco when Jim Harbaugh was there, and Baltimore when John Harbaugh was there. He was fired by John Harbaugh. Don't know what he did last year. Now he's back with the Harbaugh boys in Los Angeles.
So he's got a type.
He's got a type.
Weird khaki wearing white guys.
Yeah, so let's just that's true. Let's start with some of our optimism based on this coaching change. So I looked up when Harbaugh took over in San Francisco. They in that first year that went from a 6-10 team to a 13-3 team, and that's the same coaching, head coach and offensive coordinator combo. So I'm expecting a big bounce back this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. Hopefully, I'm trying to remember that San Francisco team, if they had any wide receivers or running backs.
Alex Smith, Frank Gore. So that would have been Alex Smith, quarterback, who took a big leap forward after having been pretty bad with Mike Singletary. Is that right? Is that his name? Is his first name Mike?
It's somebody's name. That was definitely.
It is.
Yeah. No, I think Harbaugh is going to make a difference. I'm just wondering if it's going to be a huge difference. This is definitely a team that I'll want to watch their schedule more than anything to see if they're going to just get shit on early or if they might have a chance to figure things out pretty quickly,
That's fair. That's fair. Let's get into the Hogs and then break this down position by position. So the offensive line in 2023, I have them as hurt, and a good chunk of the players just not very good. Yeah. They had Rashawn Slater, left tackle, who is good. They had their center, who we mentioned missed most of the year. He has been replaced, and they drafted Joe Alt to play tackle at 6 overall in the draft. He was the number 1 tackle taken. I'm expecting...
Joe Alt.
Yeah.
Another weird khakis guy.
I bet he is.
He is. I've seen the photos. That was the big meme online of this is a guy who hunts fish and has no personality. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Coals and khakis.
Yes.
So offensive line was, I'm expecting them to take a step forward.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Absolutely.
go into quarterback. You brought him
Let's
up
talk about
before. It's Justin Herbert. There's no confusion here. Last year in points per game, I have him as eighth. That includes, playing with an injured, non-throwing hand, and then missing, getting knocked out of a game because his throwing hand was broken. So that would
Yeah.
include those. He's being ranked by experts as 15th best quarterback, and that seems wild to me.
That does seem insane. Like, I haven't always been on the Justin Herbert boat, but also, like you said, injuries and a lot of other things. But 15, I don't think I could get close to naming 15 quarterbacks that I would take over him, or 14 that I would take over him.
Yeah, I think he's getting dinged because the Chargers were bad last
Yeah.
year, just as a team, and then people see that and see 5 wins and think, well, this team must not have been able to throw, but they could. They finished 13th in passing yards per game, but that includes multiple starts from Easton Stick. I think when people are knocking Justin Herbert, they're also looking at, hey, this receiver room is getting worse. Keenan Allen's gone. Mike
Yeah.
Williams is gone. I don't know why other quarterbacks who are losing a lot of receivers like Josh Allen aren't being dinged as much. Like Justin Herbert has finished QB2 for a full season before. He is very good. We have seen him be good. Other quarterbacks that are losing receivers are just staying at QB1. I think there's a ton of value here, and I think I'm going to end up drafting Justin Herbert a lot this year.
Yeah. I could tell you why Josh Allen is still number one, but as we
I mean, he
learned last
runs.
week, you don't want to hear it.
He'll run for touchdowns, but he's going to
an
throw less
unbreakable
this year.
dog. You know who's never had broken fingies? Josh Allen.
Fair. That's fair. All right, let's talk running backs. There's a lot of
Running
change
backs.
here. Austin Eckler is gone. Can you name me any other running back that was on this team last year?
Absolutely not.
No.
There's not a chance.
No. I thought maybe I should look them up, but they're not back. They've all been replaced by Greg Roman guys from basically 2 guys coming over from the Ravens and a rookie. So ranks right now, I just don't really care too much about them because so much is in flux. So we'll go over it. They brought over Gus Edwards, who last year had 800 yards, 13 rushing touchdowns on the Ravens. He knows Greg Roman's system. I'll reiterate, last year was not with Greg Roman. That great year wasn't with Greg Roman, but he knows
He was
how
with
to handle
A.
this. He's
Harbaugh,
being
though.
ranked as running back 35. He was with A. Harbaugh. Yeah.
A. Harbaugh, yes.
Yeah. J. Harbaugh. And then the other guy coming over is J.K. Dobbins, who has been the most broken running back in recent memory. Tore his Achilles, tore his knee up, maybe did them again, consistently injured, but he is signed on the team. I assume that he has some sort of contract where they could cut him at any point. So we just need to wait and see how he does in camp and in preseason to see what he could be. Like, the range of outcomes is very wide. We just don't know what he's going to end up being. Like, can he bounce back and be what Donta Foreman was, who similar guy had torn his Achilles, was a 2nd-round pick, and eventually got back to the point where he's just a usable backup. Like, maybe J.K. Dobbins could be that. Maybe he could be what he was before. Maybe he's nothing. Right now, we don't know.
Fantasy-wise, we got a bunch of nothings on our hands.
Yeah, like it's not really useful to look at ranks and say where you're going to draft them in 3 to 4 months because we'll get so much more information.
Yeah.
Rookie coming in, Kimani Vidal, 6th-round rookie. At this point, he could take over. We don't know. With the history with Roman is like, where's the better guy is going to get carries? And I don't know exactly where Gus Edwards was drafted, but comparing draft stock and capital, like, this guy could become something. We just don't know right now. So we'll wait and see. Receivers, a lot of changes here. We mentioned Keenan Allen gone. Mike Williams, who isn't very good, is gone. They wrote down some. They added Lad McConkey in the 2nd round, added DJ Chark. drafted Brendan Rice in the 7th round, and drafted Cornelius Johnson in the 7th round, who I only mention because he comes over from Michigan with Harbaugh.
And it's a great name.
It is a good name.
Cornelius.
So not a lot of great receiver options here for fantasy. I would describe it as barely having enough to support a quarterback. They've got Joshua Palmer, who's been on the team for a few years now. He's a 3rd-round pick in 2021. When Mike Williams was hurt last year, people thought their 1st-round pick last year, or their 1st-round rookie from 2023, Quentin Johnston, would take a big step forward, and he didn't. It wound up being Joshua Palmer. Not someone you're going to be using a lot in fantasy, but he can support a quarterback. Their 2nd-round pick, Ladd McConkey, what I know about him is he can earn targets. He can get separation, and that usually translates into the NFL. That's a more sticky stat than scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then they have Quentin Johnston, 1st-round pick last year, already seen as a bust. I'm willing to say this coaching staff could change things and fix it. He's being drafted as receiver 65. So he's free. He's the kind of guy you draft at the end of your draft, see what he is after 1 to 2 weeks, and when you need to drop someone early in the season, perfect candidate for that.
Got it. All right, let's talk about tight ends.
Tight ends, they have Will Dissly, who has spent time on a couple different teams. I remember him from Seattle, and Hayden Hurst, who I think was drafted by the Ravens, so he'll know this system. Neither one of these are guys that I'm looking to draft. I'll keep tabs on them as week 1 if they draw a lot of targets and we see that this offense coming from Baltimore to Los Angeles is going to focus on a tight end. Then I'll grab either one of them and see if I can get some value. I'm not really looking to draft or target one, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So takeaway number 1 for this team, Herbie, not yet fully loaded.
I think he's going to be good. I think
he's going to be good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He proved last year that he is very good. I think you had it in here. He was 8th overall in points per game.
Yeah.
Which was really good because, like you said, I mean, he had Keenan Allen, but didn't really have a second option. Like you have Mike Williams, right? But
that was only for a couple games. Second
exactly.
option then became Joshua Palmer.
Yeah, I think this just falls into another, like you said. He's a very good player, and whether or not he has people around him, and I think the coaching staff is only going to make that even better. What you just said there is kind of what I want to transition for point 2. I think the prediction here is that because the Ravens ran a lot with Lamar Jackson, that this team will run a lot because, we look at the coach, Greg Roman, ran on that team. They're going to make this team run. I think that they're smarter than that or better coaches than that. They'll say, we have a great quarterback. We'll do what he can do well. This is also the same coaching staff in college that had Andrew Luck, and that team threw. If you have a player that can throw, this team will throw. And it's the same head coach that had J.J. McCarthy and decided to not throw. So playing to the strength of his roster is really the genuine point that I'm trying to make as a takeaway there of knowing who you have on the team and doing
exactly.
What you can.
Yeah, it sounds like we're saying similar things.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the last point that I have is this wide receiver draft, NFL draft, was very deep. So Ladd McConkey is not a first-round target, but that is not a first-round target or not a first-round pick this year. Other years, he could have been a first-round pick or has very, very high talent. So we could see him work his way into getting a lot of targets this year.
Yeah. So drafting-wise, do you think that Justin Herbert is going to be available a lot? Like whether you're talking auction or snake draft, like do you think that's somebody that you will be able to get pretty easily this year because of the wide receiver room?
Well, I think we'll find that out more as the summer goes on and we get live drafts from ADP. Right now, we're just looking at expert consensus ranks, and they are saying 15th, but it only takes one person to draft him in the 7th round for him to then, be taken before you thought you would be able to get him. Yeah. I'm expecting to wherever he falls in ADP, I'm just going to grab him a round or two early because I I think he's going to be way better than QB 15.
Yeah, I think he's going to do really, really well this year. Definitely a QB1. Any other notes on the LA Chargers?
Nope, I thought we were done.
Me too. I just also thought that the internet cut out